Welcome everyone to the SideDraft Podcast for the very first installment of the Cup Series race reviews. And man oh man, did we pick the best one of the season.
Yeah, we was going to try to get last week started our Cup Series, but I'm glad we waited to go to Watkins Glen and what an exciting race it was, and seeing Chase get his first win. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no discredit to Kyle's win last week, but this week was just amazing by, I don't even know, but we're here to give you a review of how the entire race went, and we had that weird tech stuff again where techs were like right after qualifying. Well, in this case, it was the next day, so we wouldn't know who's going to be where until we woke up Sunday morning. But it's not as bad as last week, as we had the 13 people who just got vaporized from existence from the grid. But this week we only had two. We only had Kurt Busch and Paul Menard fail tech. They'll go to the rear. We saw it didn't really affect Kurt Busch that much because he was just on rails. But also to the rear, we will have Ty Dillon and Landon Castle to the rear for unapproved adjustments. On the pole is Denny Hamlin. He gets to keep it this week. It's not like Harvick last week where he couldn't keep it. So congratulations to Hamlin on, I believe it's his first pole of the year.
I believe so. And Kyle Busch, he would start outside pole.
So looking like a great stout weekend for the Joe Gibbs team. But we would not see too much out of Penske, as Joey Logano would just send it through the sand after the 42 checked up. Something about with the cooler.
Yeah, I don't know if it just hit the curve wrong or what, but it's something. You can see, like, from I think it's Allmendinger's car, you can see where the oil's flying up, and then next thing you know, he gets into Kyle Larson and goes off in the sand, and that's our first caution.
And then something.
Oh, there's no caution because he continues on.
No caution because he continued. We'd see something happen with AJ. Don't know if they ever really mentioned why it happened. But he had a lot of damage after that turn. And AJ and Joey's day was just kind of plummeted to nothing. And
yeah, what happened to Joey? I mean, he goes in to fix the damage on the car. I don't know if he understood the rules of a damaged car rule, but they took it to the garage, and because they're going to fix the oil cooler or something, they said, well, you're done because you took it to the garage. So it's a little confusing.
See, I thought it was if it causes a caution, that would be the damaged vehicle policy, and I think that's what they thought it was too. But I guess if it's any damage whatsoever, I guess it has to. But would it be under a mechanical issue, or?
I don't really think he crashed the car. It's just, he went off into the sand and had a little bit of damage, from the car itself. But
either way, even if he could have went back out there, his day was pretty much done because it would take him 10 to 15 laps to really get that fixed up. But other than that, also issues for the 10 car, as he would make some contact with the 12 Ryan Blaney. Just miscommunication by the spotter of the 10 car.
Yeah, I believe right there at that corner, the second spotters really couldn't see the cars, and they can't never really see the cars clear or not. And I don't think the 10 knew the 12 was there and tried to cut the corner, and he just spun around. So.
Unfortunate for the 10 car. We would see Ford struggle all day. It wasn't really their best track today. Just a miss day for them, I guess.
Yeah, most of this. Well, the Toyotas and Chase Elliott was really strong.
Yeah, we saw all of the Toyotas just be pretty much stout all day, and but Chase Elliott was out there giving it to him. Kyle Busch would win that three-way battle between them. He would get to a couple second lead. Then the 38 of David Reagan would spin. No caution, though. He had some contact with the 17 of Stenhouse going into turn one. A lot of issues there with the braking and all that stuff. That would be on lap 8. Pit stops would then start with 3 to go. Kyle Busch decides to pit from the lead. forfeiting those playoff points. He's about 2 or 3 points above Kevin Harvick in that stance, but he's probably going to win the regular season championship or whatever that is called. But also have in my notes here that it destroyed Steve's fantasy lineup here.
Yeah, I kind of got mad at Kyle Busch. I said, "All right, I'm going to win that stage," because I had him down on my fantasy league to win that stage, and I thought I was looking good. And he goes in the pits. I understand that he wants to pit early, so when it cycles through, he'll be back in the lead. And he just, at that point, I was just like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, I just imagine Kyle Busch going, "Okay, guys, I'm coming in the pits." "No, don't." "Why?" "You're going to mess Steve's fantasy up."
"Okay, I don't want to do that."
But Truex would stay out and win the stage, and that's kind of important because Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch, they currently have a half a race cushion when they go into the playoffs because the points reset every 3 races. And, they're trying to get to where they can get 60 playoff points to where they have a full race where they could just blow it and they'll be fine. And currently, the way Kyle Busch is running, he's going to get there pretty fast.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he ran strong all day. He's any track you go to, you really can't count Kyle Busch out. He's a really good driver.
Yeah, and, when we go into the playoffs, these big 3, they're going to stay that way because if they get that one race cushion, even in the round of 8, they're going to be pretty much safe unless other people win. It's like Blaney wins Martinsville, someone else wins Texas, someone else wins Phoenix, and only one of them get in. So that's the race for them. But that stage would end. We would have Truex in first. Second place would have Jimmy Johnson. Third, we would have Byron. Then stage 2, Kyle Busch would pretty much lead lap 28. Chase Elliott catches Kyle Busch and passes him.
That's pretty cool. At the first stage, there wasn't anybody close to Kyle, and then starting at stage 2, then Chase he hangs right there at his bumper, and he just wearing that bumper out of Kyle Busch, and he finally just passes him.
I found it really cool that Chase could easily just moved him out of the way, but he just raced him respectively. And
how strong was Chase in the inner loop? That was pretty awesome. And he would outcatch a 0.2 of a second right there on Kyle Busch in the inner loop. And I was like, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and they're saying that Kyle Busch was the best going through there, but then Chase goes, "Well, watch this," and he was just putting out some great laps there and really gave it to the big 3 today. We would see him win that stage 3 races in a row. For Chase Elliott, he would win the stage. In second would have Kyle Busch. Third, Denny Hamlin. Fourth, Eric Jonesworth. And fifth would have Truex. Most of the leaders would stay out. They can't really pit here. We had Clint Boyer trying to make something out of it, but didn't really, couldn't really do anything out of that.
Yeah, I believe they wanted to wait out and get right in their pit window. And if you pit now, you're going to have to pit again. So I think everybody just want to, Watkins Glen a lot of times comes down to fuel mileage. So they just try to get right in their pit window and so they can get it in.
So stage 3 would begin. Issues for the 48 pit road penalty. Drove through too many pit stalls. We saw that a lot.
Yeah, I believe Chad now said he didn't really see him drive through too many, but you can't argue with NASCAR. They got cameras and stuff, and he might just clip an extra pit stall or something. We don't know. So he will start back in the rear.
And then Kyle Busch would take the lead from Chase Elliott on that restart. Chase would try to catch him, but he wanted to save fuel in case no cautions really happen. So Kyle Busch would get to a comfortable lead. We'd have Ryan Newman spin in the sand, no caution though. And then later on, we would see the 32 slow in the inner loop, and Calls a caution, 37 to go.
Yeah, I ain't real sure what happened to the 32 car. He just, I don't know if he
went outside for smoke. That's all I know.
He had trouble when he just stopped right there, a little short shoot between the inner loop. So he threw the caution because his car couldn't go no more.
And then we would see chaos, and even more chaos. In our notes, we have Denny Hamlin. He needed a little bit of help on the track, so he tried to take a crew member to help him.
Yeah, he got tangled up in the air hose, and wow, and then he lost all the tires, and one of them knocks down a crew member, and it was really chaotic.
It's really amazing that he was okay after that.
Yeah, because well, the camera showed it. It wasn't really. I don't know if the air hose might have hit him or when the tire hit him, just something knocked him down.
Something did.
So, and he wouldn't the only one to have trouble with the crew member either. But
Chase Elliott decided he tried to pick him up and take him out there too, Mario Kart style, throw bananas at the guy in second. But that guy almost gets in danger there, but thankfully he is safe.
It kind of looked like the Dukes of Hazzard just lying across the hood of the car. Then he comes down, I'm safe. That's good. He has some good sense of humor.
Yeah.
Even
the intensity's up.
Oh yeah.
You're out there. I don't know if he was there in the Jeff Gordon days winning races, but still he's wanting to get back in victory lane. If he was, could possibly be the first time or first time in a while he's won, and he's still out there just making jokes and having fun. So that's great that he was still okay after that. We would have Kyle Busch didn't get gas in the fuel, didn't get tank in the fuel.
Yeah, there's something wrong with the fuel neck or the seal or something. He didn't get all the fuel in the car, so he had to come back in. I mean,
oh man, you got to be angry. Everyone, complaining at Kyle Busch for getting angry, but man, you would if you was Kyle Busch. You'd probably cuss more than Kyle Busch would.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I mean, what can you do in that situation? You lead in the race and you come into pits and something's wrong with the fueling the car up, and there's nothing really you can do but just come back down pit road and get filled back up, which in a way would be to his advantage.
Which yeah, it happens during these podcasts. Again, Chase will lead after Kyle Busch's mishap. Kenseth would go around, no caution. I already mentioned that. Ross Chastain would blow a tire. He got off the track, no caution, everything's fine.
Yeah, it's right in front of the leaders. I mean, Truex was breathing down Chase's neck and just trying to catch up to him. And I think they try to save fuel for a while, but it's hard to save fuel when you're pushing the limits. Try and go as fast as you can. But Ross Chastain, he did a smart thing. He got a little access road, and NASCAR gave him time to, get over to safety and no caution, which is good for NASCAR.
Yeah. And more issues. Again, Jimmy Johnson, Chase's teammate, would get turned in 7. Makes it to pit road. We're not going the long way around Watkins Glen. But thankfully no caution.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I mean, it's so exciting to see Chase leading, and I mean, he really earned it. I mean, he drove a great race, and he was really good under pressure as Martin Truex was catching him, and I mean, he just did an awesome race, and I was like, man, I hope no caution, because this is one of the most exciting races of the year, really, and you just all intensity just building up right there.
It's really interesting though. It seemed like Truex was making more of the rookie mistakes than Chase was. It's really interesting to see like a reigning champion would make those mistakes trying to catch, Chase, who's known do those type of things. So maybe Chase has learned a lot in the past few races. He's finished second 8 times.
Yeah.
And, he knows a thing or two. So
yeah, they're both driving hard. I mean, you see Truex, he was trying to see where Chase was weak at, and Truex would actually catch up a little bit to him, but I think his car got loose or something and got right behind him. But on the last lap, Chase, turn 1, just wheel hops the car. I was like, oh no. And here comes Truex, and he kind of wheel hops a little bit, and they managed to work it out without spinning around, and they kept it straight, and Chase kept the lead, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, everybody's like, yay, what? And then yay. And it's also interesting to mention Truex would run out of fuel, and it didn't matter anyway that Chase was in the lead, and
still finished second.
Truex still finished second. So Truex is really great on these road courses. Last year we saw what he did here, and Chase held off a guy who knows how to race these races, and saw him. He's going for his 3rd in a row road course win.
Yeah,
and if you could beat one of the best, you got it.
And look who finished 3rd. I mean, Kyle Busch, with 34 laps to go, was in the very back of the field, and he raced his way all the way to 3rd. I mean, he really had a strong car. So.
Yeah, it seems like Kyle Busch, when he drives mad, he drives good. And he's probably going to drive that way in Michigan, because, this is one that got away. I mean, Chase might have been able to beat him, but, it just seems like, that was his race to win. It's like Kevin Harvick at Pocono had the best car, had issues. It's like it happens to the best every week in the series. And will we see that for Truex at Michigan? Who knows? But we'll see. Chase Elliott claiming his first win. We had 7-time champion pushing him to the front stretch there. Really class act for Jimmy.
Yeah. So here, let me help you, grandson. I'll push you push you back. Just a little joke they always talk about him being the old man of the group, but it was really classy to see him pushing back to the victory lane.
Kind of made me think like changing of the guard. It's like, it's like Chase is like the future Jimmy. Jimmy's a veteran. It's like Jimmy's in Jeff Gordon's position. It's really cool to see that. Yeah,
that's pretty awesome. I mean, they're really good teammates. It's really good to see that between all the teams and the crews, and they always work together. So, and it's really good to see Chevrolet really coming on strong.
Yeah, and next week we're going to Michigan. One of Chase's best tracks. He's finished second there multiple times, a couple of years in a row even. And, with this gained confidence, you think you can back it up at one of your best tracks. You want to get a win there, of course. You got that newfound confidence. And, he made that rookie mistake by going into turn 1, almost losing the race. Those mistakes are probably out the window now, because those nerves don't affect you as much since you've got that confidence and you got the win. So maybe he brings it on to go 2 in a row at Michigan.
It's possible. I mean, he went, 8 times finishing second, and a lot of times he led a race, and then a couple of them got away from him. So he really got a lot of that lifted off his back now, and he can just go out and give it his all now. He got all that to look back on.
Just want to point out, if you're going to peak any time in the season, now is the time to do it, because you got the playoffs coming up. You're in the playoffs now. You can do whatever you want to, see what strategies work. You got Darlington, Indianapolis, you got Bristol and all that. You can just either just cruise to the playoffs or you could just nail it on them and win them all. We'll see if Chase can bring that confidence up and win a couple more before the playoffs. he might possibly be a threat to the big three in the future in these playoffs.
It's possible. And we might see more stuff out of Hendrick camp because it's like when one team runs good, the other ones just say, hey, we can lead races, we can win. So maybe let's step up their game too.
Yeah, and this wasn't a fuel mileage race, even though fuel did happen.
Yeah, but
this is a race that Chase won by engine power, speed, turning, and all that stuff. So aero matters here. It's not like Sonoma where aero doesn't matter as much. So that's a lot of confidence through the entire team.
Yeah, it's very possible he could be adding on to the big three because look, he passed Kyle Busch, he outran Truex. I mean, it's like we gotta watch out for this kid.
Last time we went to Michigan, we had Ford, and more Ford. We had Clint Boyer, who won the races, running up there pretty good. We had Kurt Busch. Then, of course, you have Kevin Harvick, the other member of the Big Three. If Chase is going to win Michigan, you're most likely going to have to outrun, out-strategize, outperform that guy. And, you got Kyle Busch also. Can Chase race with these Big Three at Michigan? That's going to be the interesting thing. Because we're going to see the differences in how people have improved throughout the summer. Is Chevy back in speed wise, or will they just fall back like they normally did throughout the summer, or will Ford nail it on them all that race, or will Toyota prevail? It's going to be really interesting to see. But who's your pick to win?
Well, I'll probably go with a Ford.
Of course.
And I think it's going to be a good friend of Chase, which is Ryan Blaney in the Penske team. I believe he's like, wow, I want to win too. So I think he's going to pick up his game next week at Michigan.
I'm going for a Ford as well, of course. And it's not who you think. It's not the Big Three guy. It's not him. It's actually a relative, a kin. I think Eric Almirola is going to do it. We saw that he's got some fast cars. If his team can perform at Michigan, I think he's got a good chance to outrun some of the Big Three. So I'm going for Eric Almirola.
Wow, that's going to be some.
So will it be Ryan Blaney or will it be Eric Almirola taking the checkered? If we get this one right, we earn something.
And just to make one note, I did pick Chase to win Watkins Glen on my fantasy team, so hopefully I'll give Blaney some good luck.
Before we sign out, we want to mention that the Mustang will be unveiled next week at Michigan. Of course, it is home of Ford, home of Brad Keselowski, just want to mention that. But we'll get to see the awesome-looking new Mustang for the 2019 season.
That'd be pretty interesting to see.
It's going to be awesome because we're going to have the Camaro versus the Mustang in NASCAR week to week.
Bring on the muscle cars.
It's going to be awesome. So join us next week. We'll be reviewing the Michigan race. We'll see if one of our picks wins. Will it be Kevin Harvick? Will it be Kyle Busch, Truex? Or will our picks be right? Will Ryan Blaney win his first race of the season? Or Eric Almirola win his first race for Stuart Haas? We'll see. In the middle of the week, we'll be doing our Why Fans Love Davey Allison. So if you want to check that out, we'll be uploading that on Wednesday. So we'll see you then. Have a good week and enjoy the racing.